Hey, it's Les from the TV Dudes. This week, I'm lucky enough to chat with Armand Fields about their role as King on the Showtime series Work in Progress. I was thrilled to talk with Armand about their character, King's attitude and wardrobe, and what they've taken away from the experience of making this amazing show. It's a fun interview, and I hope you enjoy. Hi, how are you?
Hi, how's it going?
Going great. Thank you so much for making time today. I really appreciate it. As I love to do, if I can time it before I do an interview, I literally just got to finish watching an episode of the series again, and going back and rewatching it, it's such... The show is so deep. Every character's charming. Everybody's amazing. I hope it's okay if we jump right in.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And it's not a show that I really feel like there's a lot of flaws to, or where I go, oh, I wish they'd done this, or I wish they'd done that. My one thing that I do want in season 2 is more King. And so I was really excited to get to talk to you. What was it like to get involved with the show? I know from talking to Celeste that she and Abby knew each other going back a long ways and felt that comfort. Can you talk a bit about joining the show, how you got to know these folks?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much. And you will see some more King in season 2. And, hopefully if we get a season 3, even more. But Abby, it's so funny. Abby and I actually would see each other all the time in Chicago, in this neighborhood, Andersonville. And it was so funny because we always were sort of circulating the same circles, but we were just never and we were always like, we need to hang out. We need to hang out. And it never happened. But now we get to do this show and hang out. And it was just, the audition process, it was, like most audition processes where it's just you don't know what's going to happen. But I remember I did my first initial audition, and then, the tape gets sent to the casting director. But then they did an open call, and I was invited to come to the open call, and Abby was there and Lily was there. And I just went in the room, and it was just we exploded with so much joy because we hadn't seen each other in a while. And it was just oh my God, you have this show. This is incredible. And and, it was just one of those moments where when we read together, it was just one of those moments where you just tap in and you're just this feels yeah, you feel it in your spirit and you're just this is it.
It's a show that I had enough people rave about it to me that I knew I was going to enjoy something from it. But there's times where if comedy's too real, it's an amazing show, but maybe not something that I want to watch. And so I was absolutely overjoyed to find that Work in Progress really walked that line for me of being both real and heartfelt and making me tear up, but also being just really funny in some of the moments. And I feel like a best friend like King really helps supply those. I love Chris's character, obviously, but can you talk about, did you have a favorite kind of King moment that you got to do across the series where you read the script and went, okay, I'm really getting to know what kind of friend I am here?
Yeah, I mean, there's some great ones in season 2, which I can't tell yet. But in the first season, that moment when Abby and I are on the steps and she's unsure of her relationship with Chris, and she's just feeling this uncertainty about life in general. And King is just we all are sort of we're all screwing up. Nobody is doing this perfectly,
Mm-hmm.
And I just, that moment, and then like I kiss her on the forehead and then kind of let her kind of sit with her feelings. And yeah, I think it's like we all have those friends in our lives that, you know, offer us these like words of encouragement to just like keep going. But like also they like got their other thing they got to go do. And like, you know, and it's just like that's life. You know what I'm saying? We have these moments where and that's why I love Work in Progress. It's like we have these moments where we're just like wallowing maybe in self pity or doubt, but then it's just like, and your friends are there to kind of like tap in and reflect on what they see and encourage you, but then they got to go do the next thing. And that's King. You know what I'm saying? King is like, yes, I'll give you this, but I got some over here to go do, you know? And it's just like, it's so real and it's so honest and it's from the heart, but it's also just, yeah, real.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm thinking about the going to see Dolly and of course, Abby has her entire bathroom kind of trauma comparison freak out. And then, of course, King is off watching the sunset on a cloudy day because don't deny reality here.
Tripping their butt off. Like,
right? About to watch Dolly.
Yeah. Can't have Dolly without Molly, you know?
Abby's reaction of you brought drugs to the train station. I don't know why it matters that it's the train station, but I love her panic about that. Like, yes.
King is just like, this is an everyday for me. Like,
I'm always curious in terms of craft and prep as an actor, the difference between stage and television. I know there can be a chronology shooting order difference, obviously, as well. And is there anything that you do or you felt like you did differently to prep?
Yeah, you know, I have a theater background, and so that's kind of like where I cut my chops or cut my teeth. And so with going into film, you know, it's kind of like jumping into a game of double dutch, you know. A game of double dutch has been going on and you're just like, okay, I got to keep this momentum going, you know, and just helping, just remembering those like given circumstances, what's in the script, what happened the moment before this that the audience doesn't see or isn't on the page. You know, where is this character coming from? Because with theater, you know, once a play starts, it's just like that energy and that momentum keeps going.
Yeah.
But with a television show or with film, you're just like, oh, we're filming this really challenging, heartbreaking scene that's at the end of the movie on the first day. So it's just like...
Yeah. You always hear about that this heartfelt thing is like the day they met on day one of production, you know.
Right. And so it's just like, yeah, thinking about how can I sort of cast these roles, or how can I sort of start to build these relationships outside of the page and outside of the shoot schedule, you know, with these people. Thankfully, you know, Work in Progress is like a family. When you're on set, it's just like and so sometimes it's like this past season, you know, it's just like we're also just happy to be back working and to have survived this global pandemic, you know? So it was just like the heartstrings were already there, the familial ties, and we're just like, you know, but yeah, you know, just working on those relationships and creating that storyline in your head to like help prepare you for that scene you're about to do is very helpful.
Yeah, the little bit of theater I've done and I'm remembering back to even high school band, there was always that moment where you were actually performing and you knew that you couldn't be stopped.
Right.
This is going to finish. I am going to get to go all the way through this piece of music or this scene or this entire show finally. And no one's going to interrupt. And I can imagine that sense of closure of we did it, strike the set would be different on a television show. Did you get a similar moment? Have you gotten to go back and rewatch the show? Is that is that absolutely horrifying for you, or?
Oh no. I mean, yeah, I absolutely like before we started shooting season two, because season two picks up where season
Mhm.
one left off. And so I went back and watched all the episodes again just to kind of like refresh my brain on like what exactly happened.
Mhm.
And then, with filming my scenes this past season, it was just sort of like I had a little break. I came back to LA, then went back to Chicago, and um, I had a scene where it's very powerful, but it was just like I had to stay strong to deliver it. And it was also like my last day on set. And so it was just like when they were like, that's a wrap on King, I just like melted in Lily's arms. I was just like, ah, but it's just like, that's what I love about, in film, and like also to keep that power and that energy between each take, and just saying like, okay, they call cut. We did that one. Let's do another, and I'm so excited for people to see this because it's gonna be, yeah.
I, I mean, with the ticking clock almond setup of season one, I was deeply afraid that it wouldn't be a show set up for a season two, uh, or that season two would be a very different experience. Uh, were there any moments for you when you kind of got involved with the show where you thought, "Oh, please don't go here," or "Oh, thank God it's going here"?
Yeah, I mean, we in the synopsis talk about the pandemic, and I'm grateful that like we're sort of highlighting a lot of other moments that happened throughout this past year, and I'm really grateful that we're telling these stories and an authentic, but also like finding the humor in it because we have to laugh.
Mm-hmm.
We have to laugh because otherwise we would just be consumed with the heaviness that we've all sort of been through.
You'd said earlier you went back to LA and then back. I had wondered if you had kind of gotten locked down in Chicago the entire time, and then
Oh my
but
gosh.
with nothing to do.
Well, it was funny because, I fortunately got to also work on The Shy, which is also on
Mm-hmm.
Showtime. And my scene, or the day that I shot The Shy, was after my like first 3 days of shooting for Work in Progress this season. So I was in Chicago. Like, I was like, I guess I'm never going back to LA.
Uh, in terms of obviously, please don't spoil anything for me for season two. But were there anything in particular that you were excited to get to come back and be king again?
Yeah, the outfits.
I was going to ask. You
The
absolutely
outfits.
rock some clothes in this season, and I know you've done anorexia on
Yeah,
stage,
yeah. Georgia
and have gotten to
McFly.
wear some crazier outfits, but
Yeah.
King just absolutely slays it on clothes.
I mean, I feel like King is the Carrie Bradshaw of Work in Progress.
That's great.
King is a Carrie Bradshaw, and we've been so fortunate to have amazing costume designers the first and second season. And for me, I actually come from a fashion background. I studied fashion design at School of the Art Institute. And so whenever I'm approaching a character, I always think about what does this person wear?
Mm-hmm.
Because we sometimes don't think about what we put on. Sometimes people think an exorbitant amount of what they put
Mm-hmm.
on. And it is how we present to the world, and I think that informs the character so much. And so with King, I was so, we all had the COVID-20. We put on like, I gained some weight, during this pandemic. And I was so self-conscious because I know King is not self-conscious at all.
Mm-hmm.
And King just walks out into the world as they are and says, here I am. If you don't like it, suffer, And I wish Armand had I wish I was as so bold. And like King has definitely helped me start to embrace this body that I'm in post COVID. You know, are we post COVID? I don't know.
I hope so.
I hope so too.
We'll see.
I'm knocking on wood, praying everything. But yeah, so King's confidence and King's kind of middle finger to the world, but with love sort of mentality has given me so much courage. And like just the other day, I went to a pool party and I was like, I think I'm gonna wear heels. And I was like, why not? You know, I like took them off after an hour, but I wore them.
I think it would be great that would be a great persona to put on for hours a day at work. That has to, you've got to take some of that home when you put your tools down, I would think. Because like you said, you're in your body, but in those moments you're really in King's body, and how would King present this? And it would be different and perhaps better.
Yeah. With King, there's no time for Meek.
No. You got a sunset to go watch.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for taking time to talk to me about this today. I really appreciate it. I can't wait for season 2.
I would look forward to you and the rest of the world seeing it. And I'm just so excited how people are going to respond to it. So.
TV Dudes is an independently run podcast out of Austin, Texas. We are exclusively listener supported. If you'd like to help us out, go to patreon.com/TVDudes.
You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TV Dudes. All the music for our show is done by our friend and original TV Dude, Gregory J. Amani Smith.
To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com. I'm Randy Lander.
I'm Les Weiler.
And I'm Kyle Scott.
Thanks for listening.